Imagine finding out that your doctor was a convicted sex felon and stalker. The shocking story on Dateline NBC next.
This is Dateline Monday, May 24th, 1999. Tonight, it was always after midnight when the phone would ring.
He would just repeat, Stephanie.
It was a voice she didn't know. So how did this stalker know so much about her?
He knew your hours at work, you knew where you lived, your weight, your height.
And she wasn't the only young woman he was calling.
Sometimes he would just breathe into the phone.
Who was he? How did he know their secrets? And what secret of his had no one ever told his victims?
Don't you think most people would find it odd that here's a guy applying for a medical license from behind prison walls? An investigator...
Chris Hansen with the story of the stalker. Have you tried every diet known to man? Well, what about eating like the caveman?
It is a very satisfying diet. I don't feel hungry.
Learn about the new diet that may go back thousands of years.
We have the genetic makeup that is virtually no different than people that lived 40,000 years ago.
But does it work? Steve Daniels on the caveman's diet. They're bigger.
I'm just a roller coaster crazy freak.
They're faster.
I need a lot of speed. Speed is good.
They're scarier than ever.
We're in the midst of the second golden age of roller coasters.
And he should know. He's a professional coaster rider, out to find the best. Keith Morrison.
Oh my God! Wow!
In search of the world's ultimate joyrides. A Dateline Discovery Channel exclusive. Dateline. With Jane Pauley and Stone Phillips, plus Tom Brokaw, Katie Couric, and Maria Shriver. From Studio 3B in Rockefeller Center, here is Stone Phillips.
Good evening. Are you looking to lose weight? A lot of Americans are, trying every diet plan on earth and seldom finding success. Well, now comes word that maybe all we need to do is eat the way our ancestors did. Not our grandparents, but our real ancestors, going all the way back to the Stone Age. Can you really lose weight and be healthy on a caveman diet? Here's Steve Daniels.
That food should go together, but it is important to remember that you shouldn't eat too much of just one thing, even if it is your favorite food.
It's what many of us grew up with. Healthy eating complements of the four basic food groups: meat, dairy, fruits and vegetables, and grains. But now some researchers say if you really want to lose weight, ignore the four food groups and take a look at a cartoon from our childhood.
Fred Flintstone, are you out of your skull?
While the Flintstones weren't exactly a page right out of history, some researchers say if we ate like early man did,
I've got to get this roast ready for dinner.
Just meats and fruits and vegetables, foods that were hunted and gathered, we could be in better health and lose weight.
You can eat fruits, vegetables, and lean meat. When they say lean meat, they're talking about red meat with no visible fat. Lots of chicken, lots of fish. Eggs are okay, no dairies, no grains, and lots of fruits and vegetables fresh if possible.
Dean Stankovic is 6'3" and says his weight has bounced between 180 and 280 pounds since high school. But about a year ago, he went on what he calls the caveman diet and says he dropped 70 pounds in 6 months just by dropping dairy products and grains. No bread.
No bread.
No pasta.
No pasta.
No rice.
No rice.
No cheese.
No cheese.
No ice cream.
No, and Dairy Queen used to be a downfall.
Not anymore?
Not anymore. It is a very satisfying diet. I don't feel hungry, and I know that if I do get hungry, I can eat something that's going to be good for me.
We're going to do a couple things tonight. We're going to go over the exam.
Dean got his ideas from this man, Loren Cordain, an exercise physiology professor at Colorado State University. By studying the diets of primitive societies still on Earth today, Cordain has drawn conclusions about what Stone Agers ate.
A Stone Age or Paleolithic diet, it provides us information. It provides us a template to see what is an optimal or a better diet. Okay, so
Cordain points out that only in the last 10,000 years has the world seen the explosion of agriculture, and with it the addition of grains and dairy products to our diet. Cordain made this 187-page timeline to illustrate why what was good for the caveman is also good for us. The dawn of man was 2 million years ago, giving our ancestors eons of evolution on the hunter-gatherer diet of meats and fruits and vegetables.
And here on the last page, is this where we first started eating grains?
That's right. This is the first time humans consistently ate cereal grains, included them in their diet. We moved down here to 5,000 years ago. This is when dairy products were first included in the human diet. And if we move down to the last tenth of the last inch, this is when food processing and our modern junk foods came into being.
That last tenth of the last inch has evolved into a lot of space on our supermarket store shelves. The theory is our digestive tracts have not kept up. Cordain believes modern diets are more fattening because some processed foods like white bread and white rice tend to spike blood sugar levels, making you feel hungry again sooner, leading you to eat more.
We are essentially Stone Agers. We have the genetic makeup that is virtually no different than people that lived 40,000 years ago.
Could some people misinterpret this and say, well, he's saying I should eat meat and vegetables. How about a big prime rib and a baked potato?
Potato and steak is not close to what a hunter-gatherer would eat. What would be similar would be a salmon steak and steamed broccoli and a salad.
Or how about this, buffalo or elk? Cordain says that animals raised in a ranch setting are very lean and good to eat. But if you're worried they're a little hard to find, take a tip from Dean. He forages for Stone Age food in the most modern of places, fast food restaurants.
McDonald's is one fast food restaurant that offers a grilled chicken salad. They have a wonderful no-fat vinaigrette dressing. Simple as that.
So you can actually go to a fast food restaurant and make this work?
Correct.
You just can't have the double cheeseburger and fries.
That's right.
With a milkshake.
Exactly.
But some researchers say this diet sounds more late 20th century than Stone Age.
My guess is that this diet is a very, very good way to cut out a big chunk of calories in most people's diets.
Professor Marion Nessel heads the Department of Nutrition and Food Studies at New York University.
People would lose weight on it because they wouldn't be eating as many calories.
Is that the key? If we want to lose weight, we just need to cut back the quantity of food we're taking in and exercise?
If people want to lose weight, they just need to eat less.
Push yourself away from the table.
Push it away. Cut it in half.
Simple as that.
Take half of it home. It couldn't be easier.
Nessel studied the Stone Age diet and says no one really can tell for sure exactly what cavemen ate.
You can hardly tell what somebody ate yesterday, let alone finding out what somebody ate 30,000 years ago. We don't know whether people had tamed cattle and were not eating dairy products. We're pretty sure that they went around gathering wild grains, even though they couldn't bake bread with them because there wasn't enough to do that.
Is it reasonable to think that our bodies have evolved to accept grains and dairy and fast food?
Well, obviously they have, because people are living into much, much riper old ages. People are much healthier now than they were.
The 2900, which we don't.
Cordain does agree that our ancestors didn't live as long as we do now, but he says it's because they led a tougher life. As for diet, Cordain says a Stone Age diet leads to lower cholesterol and lower blood pressure. He also acknowledges people lose weight because they're eating fewer calories, but insists the increased protein in the Stone Age diet also revs up the metabolism and helps people lose weight.
You can essentially eat until you're full. When you eat fresh fruits and vegetables and lean meats, they tend to be more satiating than refined carbohydrates than fatty foods, and they also contain more fiber and they're more filling.
I think it is one of the greatest diets ever created.
Dean says he has no plans to go back to his old ways. He's determined to keep the weight off for good.
I consider it more than just a diet. It's more of like a lifestyle now for me, whereas I know what I'm going to eat and I make wise choices when I go to the store, and it's great.
Most nutritionists would agree that we need to get more fruits and vegetables in our diet. We need to get more fish in our diet. We need to get more lean meats and cut down on the fatty meats. So I think this is really a no-brainer, most of it.
Common sense?
Yeah, common sense.
One other thing we're told the Stone Agers did right was they got a lot of exercise. Remember, before starting any diet, you should talk to your doctor. If you want to learn more about the caveman diet or other weight loss plans, visit our website at www.dateline.msnbc.com.
This is Dateline Monday for May 24th, with reports tonight from Chris Hansen, Keith Morrison, and Steve Daniels. Coming up next, who was stalking these women? How did he know their secrets?
What was the most frightening part about these calls?
Wondering, who is it?
What secret of his would shock an entire city?
I was just stunned. Stunned.
The secret of the stalker. Dateline is sponsored in part by First Union. Whatever your financial needs, come to the mountain called First Union, your guide to the financial world.
In the financial world, nothing is permanent but change. The landscape is constantly shifting. Every day, companies are downsizing, seeking the right merger, looking for acquisitions that make sense. Even deceptively simple corrections like debt restructuring can take months and demand a variety of financial products. Today, companies searching for solutions in a changing world are finding them in a place of stability and experience. Come to the financial mountain called First Union. Or if you prefer, the mountain will come to you.
Come on, get the bus, Skipper. Gotta be the dog chow.
We formulate dog chow to help maintain a healthy immune system. Dog chow, complete nutrition for a healthy dog inside and out. Purina Dog Chow brand.
I was going through this intersection. What? No, this guy came out of nowhere. I swear to avoid him, but
Slow down. Are you all right?
What happened?
Dad, I'm really sorry about the car.
That doesn't matter. That's okay. Don't worry about that.
Your whole life can change in a second. So think about this. Ford Taurus is the only car in its class to earn a 5-star government front crash test rating.
He shook up, but he's fine.
Hey everybody, I'm Bob and I'm stupid.
No, nobody here is stupid, Bob.
You guys know about the internet, right? Everybody's getting rich. We made this commercial. We spent $2 million to air it one time. We were gonna be rich. Millions of hits on the website. It was huge. What happened? The site crashed. I forgot to warn the web guys.
Oh, that was stupid, Bob.
What do you get for a 75th anniversary? The biggest sale in Ace history. The Ace 75th anniversary sale. Don't miss it.
Not yet. Still not. Nope. Getting warmer. Now it's official. It's not really summer until you have your ballpark.
Only Ballpark Franks have such a big, juicy taste. They plump when you cook them.
Don't you just love summer?
Enjoy that big Ballpark taste in a fat-free Frank, too.
So, you think you gotta go to the gym to keep in shape? You may be getting more of a workout than you know. The perfect reason to be drinking Crystal Light. It's full of light, juicy flavor. 5 little calories. No guilt, no sacrifice. So, whatever you're doing to keep in shape, keep doing it. Crystal Light. Treat yourself right.
From Studio 3B in New York, here is Jane Pauley.
His weapon was the telephone, his victims, young women in Wichita, Kansas. But what started as a police hunt for a mysterious stalker soon became much more than a crime story. What happened and why is raising some difficult questions about how we regulate the very people we trust with our lives. Here's Chris Hansen.
It was always between midnight and 6 a.m., repeating my name in kind of a low-tone voice. It wasn't a whisper, but it was a low-tone voice.
Eerie calls in the middle of the night from a stranger who knew her name. This 25-year-old woman from Wichita, Kansas, was the target of an insidious stalker, a man with a deep voice on the other end of the telephone line.
What did he say exactly?
He would just repeat, Stephanie, you know. And it's like, Stephanie, and I go, what? Stephanie, what? Stephanie, who is this?
But the man on the telephone was as persistent as he was frightening.
And the phone would ring again. I'd pick it up, say hello. I'd hear Stephanie once, hang up, take the phone off the hook.
Stephanie, she doesn't want us to reveal her last name, tried to live a normal life, but her routine was turned upside down. For more than a year, she dealt with the constant phone calls and the nagging mystery of who was stalking her.
How many calls do you figure you got from him altogether?
I can't count that high.
That many?
That many. He was winning, and there wasn't just much I could do about it. I could change my number. I kind of felt like, why should I let someone, do that to me? Why should I move? Why should I change my number? Why should I go in hiding?
Stephanie was determined not to change her phone number, and she was also determined to find out just who was stalking her.
Did you ever have any suspicions as to who this caller may have been?
I was convinced it was somebody I knew, at least an acquaintance. Because he just seemed to know things about me.
Details a stranger couldn't have known.
He knew your hours at work.
Mm-hmm.
He knew where you lived.
Mm-hmm.
Your weight.
Mm-hmm.
Your height.
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever go beyond that in terms of any kinds of threats or any kinds of suggestive talk?
These weren't really like sexual conversations. It wasn't, I want to do this to you or I want to do that to you.
But the caller was after more than just the sound of her voice.
He'd say, I want to see you. And
I want to see you.
I want to see you. And say, who is this? You'll know me when you see me.
What was the most frightening part about these calls?
Wondering, who is it? Just not knowing really whether I should be scared or it's just a hoax, somebody just playing a game with me. Just wondering.
Stephanie reported the telephone calls to the Wichita Police Department, but there was not much they could do. The anonymous calls came from a cell phone, and at the time they couldn't be traced by caller ID. As it turned out, Stephanie was not the only woman receiving harassing phone calls. Across town, another woman was being tormented in almost the same way.
He would just call, and sometimes he would just breathe into the phone.
And that's your mama.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya Dick, a 22-year-old single mother, was also receiving anonymous phone calls from a mysterious man with a low voice. And just like in Stephanie's case, the caller knew details about Tanya's life.
He knew I was divorced and that I was by myself, and that I had my daughter with me. And he knew that my family lived in Independence.
And police say the stalker was adding other women to his call list. Outside of Wichita, in rural Sumner County, Undersheriff Mike Yoder received a complaint that was identical to Tanya's and Stephanie's.
Well, we had a lady call our department complaining of harassing phone calls. She had been receiving phone calls for quite some time, all hours of the night.
But this time the caller's luck had run out. Caller ID was now able to trace cell phone numbers, and the victim in Sumner County did just that.
She turned that phone number over to us. We subpoenaed the phone company for the name of who that number belonged to.
After months of apparently widespread harassment, the telephone stalker was finally identified, and who he was and how he chose his victims would raise startling ethical and moral questions about one of the most trusted professions in the world.
Who was the stalker? The surprising answer when we return.
The common bond that we found between all these women was that they had all been treated recently at either an emergency room or a hospital
Pop? Hey, boo-boo.
The new Volkswagen Jetta. Completely redesigned to give you even more of that same old feeling.
It's the oven torch. Bigger the tips.
Right, pizza boy?
What?
There's a better way to deliver oven-fresh pizza. The Domino's Heat Wave, the bag that works like a portable oven for the best-tasting Domino's ever.
Victoria's Secret introduces Earth Angel. It's only at Victoria's Secret.
Available May 25th at Blockbuster Video. 4 brothers went to war. Only one survived.
Some private lost 3 of his brothers and he's got a ticket home.
We're in business! Where's the sense of risking the lives of the 8 of us to save one guy?
Right here! You are a coward! Put your money where your mouth is! Disperse, you know what to do.
Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan. Come into Blockbuster and rent Saving Private Ryan. Nobody has more copies than Blockbuster.
Tomorrow on NBC Nightly News, buried alive, a young mother and her 5-day-old baby trapped after a tornado tears apart their home.
My baby!
How did they survive? What you need to know. One family's extraordinary story against the power and destruction of nature's fiercest storm. NBC Nightly News tomorrow.
Dateline NBC, winner of 6 National Headliner Awards, the year's most honored television news magazine. Dateline will be right back.
The internet is a vast, lonely, isolated place.
Without the help of real, living, breathing human beings.
We are about.com.
And we are your expert guides.
Hello, my name is Rick Hall.
Emily Hackworth.
My site is
Internal medicine.
Nutrition guide.
Dating advice.
African American culture.
Ireland for visitors.
Whatever you're about.
Or just want to know about.
We are about.
You didn't come into this world alone.
Why go into the next one?